Hey everyone, hope you're having a great day. Mine has been like crazy. I was on the phone with HP from 11 o'clock until about 2:30 today, and we still don't have the printer resolved, but we're going to talk anyway. So, it wasn't until women started working outside the home that heart attacks became one of their leading causes of death. That was never the case. Because why? We weren't ever that stressed, but working outside of the home caused us so much stress because we still had to do all the things at home plus all the things at work. So a lot of times we blame our stress on things that happen outside of us that we have no control over, like other people. For example, if you sit in an office next to a person that irritates the heck out of you, or maybe has an irritating habit, and it's a constant rush of cortisol and adrenaline through your body all the time, and we're not supposed to be like that. Those hormones are only supposed to be rushed through your body at times of fight, flight, or flee. So what happens when those hormones are rushing through your body, it turns off your rational thinking and all of your blood goes to your extremities so that you can make a getaway. So, what about the stress that you put on yourself? We are very often so compassionate to everybody else. We understand where they're coming from. Yep, we get it. Why don't you try this? But when we make a mistake or we're in a relationship with a relative or a partner that isn't great, that constant stress is honest. So still, it's from outside of us. But it's there, but that stress is from outside of us. Then what about the stress that when you don't meet a deadline, when you have something to do and you didn't get it done, you get so mad at yourself and hard on yourself, and women do this. It's not just you. It's so many women that we make our own stress, and then we worry about things that are beyond our control. That's making our own stress. We talk meanly to ourselves. Negative self-talk is one of the worst things that you can do, but one of the easiest habits to break. You just need to reprogram. So that's what we're going to focus on today. I think tomorrow we'll talk a little bit about worrying about things that are beyond your control. So there's a couple of things that you can do to stop negative self-talk. Number one, ask yourself if it's true. Like, how many times a day do you say, oh man, that was stupid? Or how stupid was that? Or man, I'm stupid for doing that, or whatever. So is that true? Ask yourself that right away. Is that true? No. And let it go. Just let it go and kind of laugh it off and redirect those bad hormones into good hormones. Have the good hormones counteract those bad hormones immediately. Another thing that you can do, and I learned this from Girls on the Run, is as soon as you hear yourself starting to say those negative thoughts, like, man, I'm so stupid, or I'm so fat, or I don't look good, any of those things, make a horrible sound in your head. Ours at Girls on the Run in my little team, the first time that I heard this was, eh! That's a horrible sound. And I make it to this day when I hear that little ugly voice start saying, you're too old, you're too fat, because none of that is true. You're not too old until you're dead. Hello. And my body is comfortable right now. I'm working on getting thin, but there's no reason for me to get down on myself for being overweight, and there's no reason for you to. So many young women are forced to be at home right now with children, and your self-talk may have really gone down the drain because you're so overwhelmed. But you can change it just by making that funny song. So that funny sound. So here's what you do. As soon as we're finished with this, come up with a sound that just irritates the heck out of you that you make. And make it several times, enough that you don't have to do it out loud anymore, that you can just hear it in your ear. And as soon as that negative self-talk rears its ugly head, stop it dead in its tracks, because you know it's not true. And it will be so much easier on your heart to laugh it off than to listen to that negative self-talk that is so evil. It's evil, I tell you. And you'll start carrying yourself differently and really thinking about yourself differently when you stop that negative self-talk. Another exercise that you can do, and I always do this with my coaching clients that have a problem with negative self-talk. For 2 days, I have them write down every time a negative self-talk comes into their heads. Write it down. It doesn't matter how many times you write down the same one, because you're going to be surprised how often it is the same one. Write them down, write them down, write them down. And then count how many of them, the same ones you did, and the one with the highest, right on top of another piece of paper. Write that one. The second highest, write that one. The third highest, write that one, until you're finished with all of them. Then fold that paper in half. It doesn't matter if you fold it horizontally or diagonally, and write the exact opposite on the other side. So let's just say that one of them is, I'm so fat. On the other side, write, I look darn good, or something like that. Something to counteract that. And cross out, and then put your paper back over and cross out the bad one. And then when that negative self-talk starts, and you make that sound in your head, you can replace it with the positive one. So those are two exercises that go hand in hand. One is the obnoxious sound that makes you smile. And the second one is, for 2 days, write down every negative self-talk you say to yourself, then pick them out, the highest number of repetitions to the lowest number. Turn the paper over, write, and it wouldn't hurt to say out loud the positive. You've turned that negative self-talk into a positive affirmation. Say that out loud to yourself, turn your paper back over, and cross out the negative. Do the same thing with the second one. Write a positive, say it out loud, turn your paper over, cross out the negative. Those negative words that you say to yourself are no longer in your vocabulary. You will not say them anymore. So let me know how it works and if you try them. I have to go back and play with my printer some more because the people from HP are calling me back. How do you like my short hair? I love it. Thanks, Holly. Bye, guys. Talk to you tomorrow.